Good morning. We start with Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga from the small booklet. From the heart of the Savior of 100 deities of Tushita, on a peak of cloud resembling a clam of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dhamma, omniscient Losandrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on a lion throne, lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 yawns to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, lights, scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the 8 worldly concerns. Saviour, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect pure holy Gurus from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of the Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound and extensive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigratory beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losandrapa's teachings to shine forever. Saji Buki Chuji Medok Dramari Rabling Shi Ni de Gempadi Sange Shindu Mi de Ulwa He Drogunamadak Shinla Chubarsho. By the merits of having offered this mandala to Lama Tsongkhapa and his 2 sons, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teachings of the victorious one Losandrapa, who had a morality of an eminently pure way of life, was courageous in the extensive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of the 2 stages of supreme bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of the perfect pure Father and Sons, and combining into one, enter my crown. White nectar, the color of milk, flows from the opening of the tube of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. Now we recite 5-line Miktsema 3 times. Migmet sewe terchen chenre zik dreamek yempe wambo jampel yang dupo malu jonze sangwe dak ganchen gepe tsungen songkapa losan drape shabla solwade. Migmet sewe terchen chenre zik Dreamek yempe wampo jampel yang dupo malu jonze sangwedak ganchen kepe tsungen tsongkapa losan drape shabla solwade. Migmet sewe terchen chenre zik Dreamek yempe wampo jampel yang Dupo malu jonze sangwedak ganchen kepe tsungen tsongkapa losan drape shabla solwade.
니손은 따와 탐지 뻔비시 담비 춘 든지 고듬텔라 찬셀로 시시경근 자위 로드 계산다에 진줄리스 트라페지 라민지 통들 tembe 돈된 라찬셀 너무나 있게는 로드노지 주본다는 미있게는 로군지 자는 주자마 탐지께도 다기 주된 또 Good morning everyone. 아니 쇼버델레
쇼바드네.
이런 콘슨델라 로드 스쿨 French. Konzu group chilera. An channels de la pebati. Chana namgi tutu la pegordi na ngad shira tuyo marasra. An deri charan solaya. An tuya chongya de hajan gawa chong songs.
So today we have a group of students participating in this session here, and I want to express my joy to meet you all.
Deni zawigi charan solaya chik chewa kariyona. Ani nganzo chewa challenge yakbu dosra.
And you must be having many questions, so therefore we can discuss on that.
Hen danda ta charan so lobjong cheyin bikap inza 아니 슈슈 소스키 주마레스라 이번에 다 몽바 직 론슈 정은 유슈젤야 안 캐런스 되게 되니 오스트레일리아 나올라야 맨나 키친부 되니 차로 그러스라 하든 진짜 오스트레일리아게 아 머망 데두 안지 롬반 디게지 아니 데두근 겐킹인게 아니 다 춘주 체니 레인 그러스라
Yes. So as of now, you all are studying and young, so therefore you may not feel kind of that much responsible. But after 15, 20 years, you all are going to be very important person and responsible for making important decisions for the people of Australia.
딘자 지단니 오스트레일리아 롬바디 다 약부레도 아스라 시디 lakdun ta tendi tensang chache wanda nganzo pe ani denja yakbu shu do asra lomba shen da shen la ya ta jik mang chukri ani hajang gi nyogda tsawo yinbay na ta nganzo dawala ngoni jik tendi gi ta jik ngamda khora che mogo ya and de tu ya di jik di ani shung gi jik pi kharso ta yakab gen kingin tsogi re lamdun chingin tso tendi la teni ta chung yor wasra.
If we look around the world, there are many countries who are facing many problems such as wars and so on and so forth. But Australia is comparatively very peaceful, and in terms of security, we really don't need to worry much about such kind of grave threats. So therefore, these all peace and security are kind of happening because of the great leadership of this country.
Teni nganzu dus te de dige jing zambuli nangla la ya nyokta yonsu zoba di chagin jik mansangwe toni te legi yor wasra. Jik ni jik karso wata jik nösem dang chakdok njensem teni jik ani kontrola soba di wangi teni ta mangchukla soba di yungu yor wasra. Ti gyasha gyatang wara wasra. Ta di karchini yungur sila digi chok sheni ngoni tani ki chik namju ki mandang wadang ani chik chamze ki mandang we wangi legi yoba tita gyasha gyatang wara wasra.
So many of the conflicts and problems that are happening around the world are, caused by some conditions. They are primarily caused by either hatred, anger, envy, competition, and so on and so forth. And they are in turn happening because of lack of intelligence or lack of wisdom and compassion.
Tinza ji nganzu keche shu di chamze ki tola ya samudang go ya ani chik ngoni namju sherab yagi tang go ya dita hachang ki keche mbu chagi yor wasra.
So therefore, it is really important to cultivate compassion and intelligence or wisdom.
Tijidida pena namju gun dhamanda saya di dire dos pena tanganzu du zongwon di ngi keranzu tongo re keranzu ngan tongo yore tong di nganzu tsangma chikpa yin samsam chik ko ni samdang waya na nganzu chikpa ro wasra nganzu mi chikpa re nganzu desa saji chikla degi yore nganzu tsoro dan chikpa re kala sagi yo chikpa re dolo kono nganzu chikpa yin sambi ge ro chikpa yin bi ki chadi tola ya samdang tuba na di namju di yagad res 디기 nganzu paralaya chamze nzaze tren thugu res thundrik che thugu res ro an di maimba ko longba shenpa jine re do samsung ro chi da ko mirik shenpa ji re ja samsung nganzu penzu chi loga imbi ki thola samlo ji tamba na nganzu parda rimbu chaya gi gyula drogu do ro parda rimbu chawa na ranshingi tani ani chik drendur da ani chik kanji ani chamze di nyon drog res.
Mhm. Um, so, for instance, when we meet one another and when we kind of look at one another, um, if we are able to focus more on the um, more on our shared qualities rather than focusing more on the differences, then we will be able to create more closeness and affinity among one another. In fact, we all are same in many ways. We all kind of, same human being. We all kind of live this, we all have many things in common. So, if we are able to focus more on the common things that we share between us, we will be able to create more harmony and love among ourselves. Instead of focusing more on the common qualities that we share, if we try to focus more on the differences that we have, such as thinking that, okay, that person is from a different background, that person is from a different country, ethnicity, and so on and so forth. So the more we focus on the differences, it will automatically create a distance among us. So the more distance we feel among one another, it will create sense of competition and undermine our love and compassion towards one another.
If you look comfortable, sit there. Can you use chair? They have chairs, please. 락돈도 다지 랍돈나는 데데비 카블야. 아니지 소득 펜솔라야 펜술 빠라라야. 안지 자지 용거야 때 계신버려다서라. 먼저 랍더 찍바이 삼삼당 먼저 진짜 찍바이 삼삼기 아니 두시잖아. 통운데니 아니 가와기야지 용거레스. 락돈도 다지 장가나는 종원디 아니 지 개겐다 피기 소미 빠라기 제와디 약부지 여바나 소미 응원이 지 개겐래야 90 약부다 개겐 응원이 로모솔래야 지니 로마 인삼비기 자제기 셈지 여바나 아니 진짜 초원디 빼 기우차 그래스 로
And particularly in the school environment, it is really important um, to create harmony among the student by thinking that they are your schoolmates, they are your classmates, um, um, and similarly, the kind of relationship between your teacher and the students should have kind of respect towards one's own teachers, and the teachers also should treat the students with love and compassion. So if that kind of an compassionate environment is created, then as soon as you enter that environment, you will immediately feel some kind of feel some kind of joy or feel some kind of um, a sense of affinity as soon as you enter the school environment. And this is really crucial to create such a warm environment in the school.
라다 진짜디 아니 돈다 카시다 다와 카시 로직니 깨져 말아와서라 아니 로 찌쫑아 니슈 안 딘디다 아니 진짜를 drogo 안자 진짜디 게깅 이냠도다 뒤츠몽부 슈즈 땅고 그러서라 게깅 진바이나야다 게깅 차와디 아니 게투 촐라야 포모 촐라야다 아니 로종 라비아딘자 아니 소수 메세드 데와 여바 소수 레가드 데와 여바 투차온디 게겐다 게투 빠라긴 데와 야부치 샤야다 하장게 게침부 차그레스 디 소수 셈라야 디기 퉁그리 소수 셈라야 참제 퉁그리 디기 아니 카르소다 지 로종 체야기다 퉁게 약슈디 게겐다 게투 빠라긴 데와 상부치 여바나 쇼지 케반로그레스로
And similarly, we spent many years in school or all in a learning kind of environment, um, and therefore it is really important to have a very good kind of relationship with one's teachers. So far as the teachers are concerned, their main job is to kind of teach and impart knowledge to their students. So if there is some kind of, some sense of compassion or affinity between the student and the teachers, then it will not only help you to improve the job that you're doing, but also it will kind of bring joy in your heart, and it will create a compassionate kind of warm environment. And creating such a warm environment will help to create a very conducive learning learning experience and learning environment.
nganzo penanga in the dal lo nyushil hajilaya ni lobjong chenira gegen le du ni drains ra gegen le ani chi gegen ngone ani nganzo le ya chamji shuch nangrela nganzo gedru ngone gegen la khuship shu yores tichi undi pigi nyema takban zendra droya la ya kanga meba ani gegen za drone chi pigi lomze nye undi pe ani kharso ta chi rigpa dim ni ani chi kanji trosum korge ngani ani zendra chi pigi chuzo kazu gorgo yana ya diki tukres ti ani gegen ka chamze toni ma getu la la wondi getu la ya chi lobjon digi pen koran drago mares tara tenza 아니 계란소 야자 당반 남기 기레스로 네버도 직 수수 개개라야 딩기 개개 삼비긴 뒤시지와나 그 타가랑 토니 아니 90레인 그레스 개개인 소이나 딩기 게투 인 삼비 삼루잖아 타가랑기 샴젤레 그레스 로 테니치 아니 쳐바 마르테야다 지 저도 참말로 아니 지 다가랑비 아니 까용야지 야채야 요레스로 티마도 니 레가 인 삼성다 디 콘즈 체레 삼성 삼루 지어바나 여도 요 말데 딘디 지어바나 딘디 기부자원이 요 말레스로
Um, as far as I am concerned, I have relied upon teachers, my own teachers, studied under them for more than 20 years. And during the course of these long 20 years, I have immense respect for my teachers, and my teachers also have kind of, very kind of strong compassion towards the student. So that kind of mutual respect and admiration will create a very conducive kind of condition between the teacher and the student, and will make the learning experience so enriching and warm. So if that if the teachers have compassion towards the student, and the student have respect towards their teachers, then it will kind of automatically make the school environment so warm that we don't feel difficult to go to class or go attend the classes. So therefore, creating such a warm environment is very, very important. And it will also help to improve our overall learning experience. So far as the students are concerned, it's really crucial for you to have, respect towards your teachers. When you recognize your teachers as kind of your own, someone that you receive knowledge from, you will automatically have respect towards them. And then from the teacher's point of view, when you recognize your student as someone whom you impart knowledge, you will automatically have compassion towards them. So this will enrich our learning experience. Otherwise, if we simply think that, well, this is my job, and if you don't kind of go beyond that, it is kind of it's not going to help much. So therefore, instead of simply thinking it is your job, if you have this kind of mutual respect and admiration, it will also make us way much happier.
tirda 지 소수 로종 집이 갑둘라 개긴라야 지 구십이야 뭐지 아직 로드 편조라야 아니 통부지다 아니 적분 뒤시시샤니 로종 치는 들어봐야나 아니 타르 로종 텐이 빼나 개긴이 잡아 지긴 봐야냐 소수 아니 소명원이 소소라 야차 야담바 그 90채용 그랬어. 가오 채용 그랬어. 디고 디 레균데 생이디 지기 미지기 수여샤바다 딘디 카이 말고 로단 딘디 요레스로. 다 소소기 로종 집에 가들라 게긴래 90 마치 초보 편절라야 지 참부 마치 또 수저바는 타마 소소 침부자니 아니 내가 지온디 디긴 데부디 타마디와디 소소간라티 딜레인 거요레스. 디고 딘 지당기 디 레전드 케제데 넘버 상기 위 최종진의 숙체슈지도 된거여데네야 응으베 내슬이야 디 연구여레스로 파마이네 지바레스 소수기 아니 지 가서다 파마라야 잠종 약부지 마시나 소수 첨부 자원디 소수기 보고 부르기 소수를 장부시 말레스 베칼레 가고레스 로
Um, so um, when you are studying in the school, um, um, we must have kind of a respect towards one's own teacher, um, and also have very good kind of, we should consider our fellow students as one's own friends. Um, so if you spend the school time in such a positive way, then even later, suppose you might become a teacher, then during that time, your students will automatically, kind of admire you, will respect you. Um, so this is kind of a, something to do with the law of causality or karma. And then when you are a student, if you lack respect to one's teachers, if you don't appreciate their effort to impart knowledge to you, then later when you become a teacher, when you start doing a job, then you won't receive much appreciation and credit for your effort. So therefore, the law of karma or law of the causality might seem a Buddhist concept, but still it is applicable to many things in real life. Um, and similarly, um, if you do not take proper if you don't kind of take care of your own parents, then later when you become a parent, your children may not kind of take care of you, and so on and so forth. So therefore it's really crucial to have to create harmony among the fellow students.
양이 망부 무시스라
Yes.
그래서 제와였는 땅으로 치스
Yes. So now I'm not going to talk much. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Yep. Losantava is my Buddha. Losantava sana tanda jidang kong turup choksum chubshilaya kawla pevshabigi ani pebigi lama chikres.
Yes. Mhm. So Lobsang Tapa was a renowned Tibetan Buddhist master who came in 13th to 14th century.
다콩 하장기 때니 케바 아니지 케바 좀 많이 봐 가서 다지 남주영이 되니 장섬지 다콩기 아니 제자비게 송포도 접기 요레스 라 포도 접기 돌치 때바이나 당원에 얌참바든지 얌참바더라 아니 당안 로진 다 로니실 하지rin라야 콩기다 조 콩기 송라 장바인스라 자와니니 익초야 로진 문도스더라 가주 장나 단도비 따고야지 가주 때바이나 진니 아니 고와 아니 사브 드여규지 덴디기 얌참부지 요스더라
So he was a great scholar and a highly accomplished master, and also, of course, a very compassionate teacher. And he has written more than 18 volumes of works on Buddhist philosophy. So if I have spent more than 20 years primarily focusing, studying and reading the text composed by Lobsang Takpa. So, these texts are so profound and so deep and comprehensive that the more you read and the more you study, the more you really like to explore and delve deeper. So his writings are also amazing.
당한 이마다바 콩기 아니 지 구송 특송기 연댕이 톨라야 아니 삼로당 당한 좀 물론 게다 당한 다 아니 최바지기 단 조단지라서 물론 게니 아니 로그유스 도스 콩기 구송 특송기 톨라 삼로당 원디 지당 잠블리 나와 다 넘버 3기 와서야지 총으로 와서라 넘버 3기비기 아니 템바디 아니 템바 샤게면 콩레스 디 다삼기 메케바치 다 콩 직된린 델 펩니 콩 공바 냥일 데사비 제라 다콩 낭시 아니 자발로선 차바 총요레스 당가 딘디지 제기도 들어 당이 콩 낭시 템버 좀 된딘 잠블린라 페바 낭신기 아니 템버 좀 된디 진주 겔홍디 자발로선 차바 콩 낭시 다 루니동 압제 제라야 콩 낭시 직다 다 요사 말이스. 다 문도스 니샘나라 니 가주스 삼다나 코나시지 다 문도스라 딘디기 다지 아니 당 니샘라다 아니 템버 좀 된데다 케바 자와니는 문도스라 어 딘디직다 아니 제기엔 캐나디 돌라 저 땅와든가 가우베 총송스
So as part of my daily practice, I occasionally try to kind of reflect about the exalted qualities that he embody, of course make say prayers. We all know that the founder of Buddhism is Buddha Shakyamuni, and over the last more than 2,500 years, uh, uh, there have been many scholars, practitioners, um, and highly accomplished masters. But the glorious Losantapa is one of such giants who is whose accomplishment, whose spiritual accomplishments and contributions are so vast as Buddha himself. So in my heart, I don't see any difference between the glorious Lobsang Dakpa and Buddha himself. And since he being one of the kind of closest spiritual master that I truly admire and look up to, I'm really happy that you asked this question.
등이 갈상 걸선으로 등이 계란 일라와나 등아 콩나신 최고 삼비기 삼로지어서 지지나 아니 한번 사전 이내양 온니 샘딘 다지 아니 콩나신 제약이 dumba yori bezun chigiyos. Bezun chigiyos ra.
And I have immense kind of reverence and admiration towards him. And because of that, I always wanted to become someone like him and try to kind of embody the qualities that he has.
공 난신 차약이 차긴 요랬어. 유긴 요랬어. 가서는 공그 가르 송군도 라. 당이 송보도 접게디다 아니 야간이 저 덴데슈니 용로 왔으라. 나라 냠데 덴데슈. 더 공그 간르 송군도 딩이 뒤딱 봐. 공그 송자기 측도중이 쇼게 딱 봐. 겨르고 요랬어. 망부 치라. ngi samna ya khong song ban song ja gi ding gi gyur bo gyur de wa na khong gi song dan jo la ding ala ten ding a di cha yung ko re sam ngal yi che yo re sro di cha cho gro sro ani khong tu sam kan de she gi du din na xin ji ngara jang jin song dang ba na khong gi tu sam she dan na xin ji ya shi ja da ma cha gi ro sro ko komji komba komji ga wang gi ro ya ro sro 아니 대차 와이나다 배시 찍버렸어.
So I have immense admiration and reverence towards him, and I always wanted to become someone like him. And of course, if we try our best, it is possible to become someone like him, because on the daily basis, when I first came from India, I brought the entire set of his collection of his writings, the 18 volumes. I've, bring the entire set with me. And then on the daily basis, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I start by reading one of these texts and try to familiarize myself with the writings of this great master. And then the more I read and contemplate these writings, my mind will become familiar with his writings. And not only that, I try to kind of contemplate on the meaning of this text. So by doing this, kind of my mind will become acquainted with his writing, with his kind of vision, with his philosophy. In this way, there is a possibility of becoming someone like him.
쇼킹아 망체도 주주숨도 제가 시발이야 랑고르스라. 란치닝이 공그 송딘디 다 주주숨도 제가 시발 미망체 니데기도 하더라. 남세요 말아. 남세 메디 미망체 니데기도 하더니 자치위나다 니데디 까라. 쿠스부 여디드니가 니 강강 대거라. 아니 수지 고 말아. 깨 첨부지는 거 건식 교야. 깨 첨부지니. 깨 첨부지니 결국이었어. 고 잡셔 개고 잡셔니 대사 타리 수치 고 말하는 게 깨침부진 그래서 내가 검지태야지 아니 깨침부진 마부 껴봐나 식딩 나토로 용약이 개바 용거래서 아니 디 검지태야 개바 니 딘디 치기여서 딘디기 딱 간지가 딘디기 아니 야발로 산타발이야 다 대바 가시 아니 콩그 고송 두고 연댕기 돈 상당히 오늘 다니겠다 nga bet yewan chogu yesro.
So usually I would get up around 3:30 and 4 a.m. in the morning. And then as soon as I wake up, I started kind of reciting his writings. So since my, in that early hours, most of the people are still sleeping. So therefore, the environment itself is very quiet and serene. And then I kind of took the kind of at that time I would recite his writings very loudly because my residence is quite far away from the other residents, so it won't disturb others. So the whole purpose of reciting loudly is that the more you recite the words loudly, it will help us to kind of remember and to memorize the words as well. So by doing this, we will get familiar with his writings and with his way of thinking. So the point is that I have immense reverence, admiration, and devotion towards this great master.
Thank you.
Do all Buddhists follow the same great master?
낭bat 사마기 네 수수가 기겐 세월에 자 라마 세월에 찍bat 땡기 여러베사 야나 기겐 로여레스.
직보도 연구 말아 왔으라. 가서 롱버소소 차원디 이게 아니 직보도 연구 말이 있느냐? 아니 가서 왔다 규버디 산지 좀 된디 있다 최균디 아니 직보레스.
Yes. So the Buddhist followers across the globe, we don't necessarily follow the kind of same teacher because of different kind of location and place, but so far as the lineage of the tradition is concerned, we all follow the lineage of Buddha.
Does Buddhism ever allow for like killing in self-defense or any other cases?
단다 낭비기 딱아서 루를 세우라게나 단다 수수 self defense 수수 라니 송줍지에게 체도라 아니 속줘바디 나와 여르베스
요 말이스.
나서
요 말이스.
나서 Buddhists won't allow killing in self defense.
간스는 남발이야 주온디 남발이야 슈온디 아니 동바직래 요레스. 켈렌지 요레스라. 만탈라 테니 캠드 동바디 랭고 거레스. 캠드 동베기 아니 라브자 송야디 젠라야 체와 메치바다레스. 젠라야 체와 체슈디 젠기 속 tro야 들어와서라. 디 텔라야 자와니니 자와니니 나와요 말했다. 텔라 나와요 말했어. 소소 라니 송집지에 쳐도 아니 젠라 체와 쳐야디 자와니니 나와요 말했어.
So when you formally enter the Buddhist path, or when you formally become a Buddhist, you're supposed to keep take a vow known as the refuge vow. So as you take that vow, there are also certain precepts that you follow, and one of the precept is to avoid killing or avoid causing harm to others whatsoever. So under this category, you are not kind of allowed to killing or causing harm to others, even for the purpose of self-defense.
Can I the pay out? Your question is excellent. Any 좀된데 지당 미지레스라. 미나니다 자와 갤롱지레스. 아니 콩기 땅안주 남병원 시원디다 템바 상기레스 라고라스라. 이내 지당기 안주 잠블링기 미지기 미찬니 계제시바나 콩 장부 장장 미지레스. 로 장부 장장 미지레스. 다 장부 장장 토는 좋은디 수수수 송겹 지야디 수수 톱당을 와서라. 수수기 디기드야 수수 톱당을 수수 동아세야 수수 톱당을 했어. 이번에는 수수 디기드야 쳐도 셴란 뇌세 땅야디 그 톱당 요 말아왔어. 그 장부 말아왔어. 싸워니니 난 말했다.
Yes. So the teacher of or the founder of Buddhism is Buddha Shakyamuni, and he was a human being. He was a monk. We Buddhists consider him the founder or the teacher of this tradition, but on the kind of on the foundation level, he was a human being, and on that level, he was a very honest and just human being. Because if you look at his teachings, he says that it is our right. We all have a fundamental right to to pursue happiness for ourselves, but we do not have any right to cause harm to others in the process of pursuing happiness for oneself. So from this kind of teaching, we can see that he was a very honest and kind of a just human being.
딩간주 성로 약부 땅바이나 간주 미 있는자 파쇼 톤로 있는자 아니 대와 고야당 둥아 무고야 둥아 문대봤다 갸차 갸담바 찍바로 왔으라 틴자 다 찍바 임발로 수수 대와 치도 파쇼 몰로 둥아 째바이나 디 장부창 와서 왔으라 데다 잠블리 나노야 마장와 체슈디 디인 거다 수수 롱바 송gibi 치도 롱바 시엔 촉좀 치야 라 수수 벤조라야 치도 생그 벤조 초야라 소바디 자원인 다 마장위 다디 세위 내가 독슈디 디차고 알았으라 뒷자원이는 다 나만 거래 나만 제 거래 싱 말때 나만 수직을 디 나만 제비 톱당 거래 요 말 왔더라
So whether it's human beings or whether it's the animals, one aspiration that we all share is that we all want happiness and we all do not want suffering. So this fundamental aspiration is common to both human and animals as well. So so we all have every right to seek the happiness that we desire, that we want, but we do not have any right to cause harm to others in the process of pursuing the happiness that we want. And if you cause harm to others for the sake of achieving happiness for yourself, then it is not fair on the ground that we all want happiness and not wanting suffering. So on that ground, it is not fair to cause harm or hurting others. So the most unfair things that are happening in the world that we see is that we tend to kind of cause harm to others. We tend to whether it is in the field of economy, whether it is in the field of whatever field we are talking about, basically, taking taking others kind of hurting others' well-being for the sake of one's own happiness is not fair. So this is also considered as one of the most violent actions. So therefore, it is not allowed in Buddhist practice, and no one even can allow such violence. Are there any other questions?
What is some of the significance of the stuff like around here? Like, does it have any special importance or anything?
Sorry, could you repeat one more time? Significance of what? Star?
Um, yeah, just the statues and things like that.
Okay. Tanda di tsula kanalula tanda kunda mangbo shamdo asake. Di su shamyaki Mexico ba jimsing tula ngotre nangruchis.
Kunda digi peshi mi gyacha gupchu gi ani kunda digi di jeon di sem nalala ya shidi suraj gavi logic trengu mendo es trengu res ra penanganzu gi diog nalanda garden yuso nalanda garden dus pendu chubden kuyosa del milya ondi mi kanga pe yakpu shudus semla gawaji trengu dasra trengu yores.
Yes. So one of the significance of these statues is that as soon as people see them, it automatically creates a sense of calmness and peace within them. For instance, you also might have visited the Nalanda garden over there. So many people have kind of shared their experience that they felt very peaceful and calm when they visited the Nalanda garden.
Pena Australia nanglogi mimangbu jiki suzuki kambin dundang kashida sanjo nala shagidosra kudindi tembe kudindi shagidosra.
Yes. Even in Australia, many people have installed Buddha statues in their gardens, and some even put statues in the toilet as well.
Di karirisina di tongdi shidich gawash gawi logic chungundasra 디신이 샤고를 마도 디통디 가와 끼기 매바 있는 싸워니는 샤고 말하다 대반이요 말해 될 취는 제거요 말해.
So the reason why they keep or install the statues in this area is that as soon as they see the statues, they feel peaceful and calm, and because of that, they keep such statues. Otherwise, if they feel kind of hostile by seeing these statues, they won't be keeping them.
딜다 쪼 딜에도 다 된다 딜다 그거 쪼디 딜에셨어. 지 간주 딜 샤미야디 미스르지기 딘제바나 삼나 가와지 준 투구 이야기다 제와 첨부 지어반자 아니 디체도 샴구여스라나 디 디기여스라와.
Yes. So, among many, although there are many significance, but one of the primary major significance of displaying these statues is really to create a calm and a peaceful environment.
다 민용시질러와 민용시질러 마가벨로 기시그레스 nganzu tabshi 말았으라 nganzu 단단 도망이 쉬어 난신기 nganzu 릭스 치온디 고 남바레샤 고 에네 지 힌두레샤 유슈레샤 카치레샤 삼성 파 리리로 체샤와이나 데니 아니 소소 가리 리기 뭐 디기 리기 아니 셴고지 케지네 릭 셴번 통온디 마가 로지키 디 데니 줄로가레스 덴디 마임바 차당 초롱기 온도 마솜이 미지긴 바이나 군다 디기 지온디 샘라 가와지 제토고요레스
So for most of us, we feel calm and peaceful by witnessing these statues, but some might feel kind of uncomfortable. We all kind of people follow different religious traditions, and just because we follow a different religious tradition, sometimes we feel uncomfortable to see a statue associated with other faith traditions. So that kind of things occur due to having that sense of division among our mind. For instance, we tend to say, well, I follow this particular tradition and he belonged to that tradition and so on and so forth. So if we have that kind of sense of kind of divisiveness in our heart, then we automatically tend to see things differently. Otherwise, if we approach this without any division, without any sense of differences, then such environment will help us to create a peaceful and warm environment.
디레다 틴자타 조 디기 키킬야 고지도 아세죠 제리스 코티 고침보티 근데 차망부 얘기티
Mm.
디 닌지글라이스 닌지글라레스 로 닌지글라 닌지 다 남비 라원데다 상기 함지기 투규기 저닌지 쳔보디 술 라샤르샤바디 아니 제리스 안 디기 남바 야 샹샤비 꾸다 딘디 차고레스 딘자 디 가서 따지 시자 코랑기 아니 잠젤에 툭 대와시 차고도 하서로 안 디 잠제 디 가서 왕기 총위 아니 지 아니 차와 있는다 남규리 있는다 아니 지 가리 임바이나야 아니 미 샘감을야 아니 시디트린 투야지 디 용구요레스더라
For instance, if you look in the altar, in the middle there is a statue with multiple hands. So this is a statue of Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara is considered as the Buddha of compassion. So he is the manifestation or the physical representation of the compassion of the entire Buddhas. So therefore, the statue itself is built on the idea of compassion. So therefore, since the statue itself represents compassion, it also creates that sense of kind of warmness.
셴보예스
Are there any other questions?
So what I understand is life is sacred and you want to preserve it, but at the same time you're trying to move forward into enlightenment, which is kind of different from life. So what is your definition of life?
그래. 단다 초지는 건저 다 밀루 짜치 모임 바다 밀루 디른당 치 모임 바 직다기 여러 왔어. 야 초지니 아니 밀루 텔레 산지기 코방 토고도라니야. 텔레 네비 삼도시 당기 여러 왔어. 제가 된구빈이 쓸래 치다 징한수 라이프 기 된 칭이 저보다 가르 샤고레스. 대짜 첨부레베 야나 Tā ngā dzō tēne sāngjī kōmbā tōp rūsi dī yāng chīk gyab lī gyūr nī xiāmbā chīk tōwa tōwa chā rū yorā gāla.
다 남비 톤 대wan 더 딩인 제와 슈요르스다. 딩이 빼 마서원 제와 전부 차고 버렸어.
So from Buddhist point of view, there is definitely a strong correlation between these two, life and enlightenment.
nganzu meze tsa chenbu yi mi gyunsen kares dit samda war dara meze tsa chenbu gyacha gyata ma meze tsa chenbu re meze tsa chenbu di ani yimba di töni shegora da töni shegora da yakbu da dukja sa di töni shagora ma do di yakbu re dukja re di chokbu men sa di töni shagare ma do 당분이 네 trip 대화치 요 말에 있다. 요 말에 왔으라.
Yes. So we say life is sacred and precious, and whatever kind of the sense of kind of preciousness or goodness and so on and so forth, all these has to be posited in relation to something else, in comparing to something else. So comparatively, we can talk about preciousness, wholesomeness, goodness. So if you do not compare it with others, there is no absolute goodness. There is no absolute bad as well.
다 nganzu tun주 benata nganzu koyu din nongla ya ta chi ani cha chiwla sobaro ani tun주 망부여라 다 tun주 두zu기 Geshe 싱금마레 아니 셴라 로바 체 싱금마레 아니 지 남주 야기 땅에 콘솔에 대성군 니버 요 말어 왔으라 nganzu 밀 요 왔으라 nganzu 밀 가주시기 남주 야기 땅기 뭐냐 땅 투야기다 아니 니버디어라서라 니버디어엔자 nganzu 밀리디 사침부레샤스 디톤이 셰고라서라 마도지 대바 용토야 칼라사토야지다 아니 지 대sam기 밀리자 첨부레스 람나 챵스키요 말아서라
For instance, if we compare human life with the animal world, the animals, the birds that we see here, they do not have a sophisticated language to convey their thoughts. They don't have the ability to help and serve others in the way that we humans could do. And most importantly, we humans can improve our intelligence. We can learn many things. So that ability to improve our intelligence without any limit is a quality that we humans only exhibit. So from that point of view, the human life that we have is truly precious and sacred. So if we only look in terms of the ability to survive alone, it doesn't make our life much precious. But if we look from our intelligence, the ability to improve our intelligence and other qualities that we have, it really makes our life more precious.
딘자 상기 공방세디 nganzu soso dan jewa mebagi saje shembachila shaashayaji tsaani niremendo asra. nganzu soso namju yagi tang yoyobanza chakdangi wandu masungwa namju tsangma di yagi tangni yagin tartugondi sangi wares. Tindigi tartugiyagi nganzu nibadi yoris darwa. Dilda.
So when we talk about enlightenment, enlightenment is not a distant physical abode, physical land that we go, but rather enlightenment is the culmination of one's intelligence. It is the kind of transformation or the kind of best version of oneself. So therefore, we all have the ability to reach that state, the the ultimate kind of transformation of our intellect. So therefore, kind of, if we kind of strive, we all have the potential to achieve that.
Pena 다당한도 데라 라스 다 사자 찍을 데네 소소소 롭종으로 지 소소 다 메세드 나라야 지 아니 튕겐다 도서 야고촌나 디그리 삼성기 다 소와 딘디지 가라 만샤지 네데 그러서라 임베니야 삼야고 야체사 지 땅치네 아니 아 로직 깨바이나 간sam질이야 니 잠블리 코랑라야 지 펜토 투기하기 아니 지 최고 삼비기 아 로직 땡땡 용거로 와서라 아니 두스야 장원디기 지 오늘 단에 카요 라요기 지 잠블링 코랑라야 펜토 투기야 아니 지 수수 남미 지고 많이 봐 아니 롱바 코랑기 밀라야 펜토 투기야기 미차요로 와서라 칼로 주투에 미차요로 와서라 두 차원디기 심지어 탐진기 대두라야 아니 삼로 땅에 차원디 야기로 왔더라 다두 차원디다 상기엘에 다 니르니 로고르스더라 상기선의 딜 모두지 젬바치기 소수구 류단 샘디 샤치니 젬바치 아니 레양 소르지 셰기오 마레스
Yes. So for instance, if we look at our own transformation in this life, we can see a major change over time. For instance, for the time being, we are studying and just doing the things or daily activities, and then we might tend to think that, well, later if I have a successful life, that will do, that is enough. But then later, as you grow up, you might want to become someone who is not only successful for yourself, but you wanted to become someone who can contribute to the world, who can contribute to the larger society, um, and and in this regard, if you truly wanted to become someone who can make huge contributions to the society and to the world at large, definitely we all have the kind of capacity, or we all have the potential to achieve that. And then the more you kind of try to enhance your aspiration, the more you try to enhance that that kind of a vision, then later, instead of helping the kind of human beings alone, you might want to become someone who can who can benefit the entire sentient being as well. So in this process, we are in fact expanding our aspiration, expanding our mind. So when we kind of transform in such a way, when we expand our aspiration, we are basically getting closer and closer towards enlightenment. So it's basically a transformation of our mind. And so we are getting closer to environment. Otherwise, enlightenment should not be understood as a physical distant land that we go by leaving this mind and body.
next yeah okay
Can you speak into merit in line with achieving enlightenment? If I'm helping people and I'm acquiring merit, what does that look like?
Regela pichindi sunguisar anzo sanji gi kopang ta tobe gi chidulaya chos sagu yorwas.
Ore.
The chok sa tang kandiris to sura. Chok kandis sagu resecho.
Dirida tanji nisho deyaki. Domba sonya jindoas. Domba sonya dita marsa rojres. Sangi kongbang dribya ki tab ji yorasra. Sangi kongbang dribya ki tab di nganzu tab tel shuk tukbay na. Mezi tagarang kita kibu chagres labna peshe lab chogresra. Mezi di kibu chagres labna lab chogres.
Yes. So in fact, there are many means to kind of accumulate merit, and the most fundamental um, is to kind of to keeping the vows and the precepts that we were discussing earlier. So that is the kind of fundamental for all other practices. So the point is that if we could engage in the means of kind of achieving enlightenment, then it will transform our life entirely.
Pena di chilam da diksar tanda nganzu chawada ani nandra kimbai nandra su imbai na ya tsama ki sung goya ki ani domba chigi yung res. Ngoni china su sung bai na ya tela ya pendo ma do neba jik tsawa nini yo ma res. Tela genying domba segi res ro.
Yes. For instance, there is a kind of particular precept known as layperson's precept. So, so whoever kind of abide by this precept, it will only kind of benefit them. There is no kind of counter productive result. There is no harm in kind of keeping this precept.
Tela sungzheng nga chi shawar ro. Sokcho ba, majimba lemba, ani loyim, zun, ani raksiyat. Raksiyat nga ti res ro.
Yes. So the so-called layperson's precept, there are 5 precepts that you should abide by. The first one is you should avoid taking lives or killing. And the second one is you should avoid stealing or taking what is not given. And third one is indulging in sexual misconduct. And fourth one is telling lies. And the fifth one is consuming intoxicants.
Tela da di sangiya ki gyu chane shaba na da marza ro res. Marza ro res ro.
Yes. So these 5 precepts really lay the foundation to attain enlightenment.
Da di domba di nga da sung matu bay na. Mese na nyokta re do asra. Mese na nyokta re, kumagu na nyokta re, loyim chena da nyokta ro da. Namin jimbay na manchin bay yung zu di chaga war asra. Tini milang gogor tangde na misu ji ichi chig mar asra. Tini raaksin ro deba na mizi koran chola do gara da. Nisa di nga di, sungya di, ani chok saya ki da jik shidza yuana mena di da tsultrim se di chaga war as.
Yes. So if you look carefully at these 5 precepts, they are really not only fundamental for our practice, but they will lay the foundation um, for accumulating merit of enlightenment. And this is not only essential for someone who aspire enlightenment, but also it's equally crucial in our own kind of daily life, because if you if you indulge in any of these five, it will create lots of problems. For instance, if you kill somebody, if you take life, of course, it's going to be a big trouble. And then if you steal again, it will be a problem. If you indulge in sexual misconduct, it will again cause lots of problems and trouble. If you tell lies, nobody will believe in you, nobody will trust you. And then again, if you consume intoxicant and substances, your whole life will be kind of ruined. So therefore, these five precepts really lay the foundation for not only attaining enlightenment, but also to maintain the kind of morality in our life as well.
The 공부하다 무슨 당슈들이 다 디니아 드론데 mambu shuja ta di tabla ji shu do bana simply ranshin gi shidi chagra da di ko to shuji ta nga zu jangbara ra jangbara de ka zu si jangbaya na ji nima takpa sam dangba na ji su su sem nang la ya ji samlo sawa ji da suba ji ra sem di ni ji 오늘 하장 가와 용야 지 라, 그 치기 지 벤저서야다 지 아니 딘디데케 요마데네 샘나 자자자탄바 시데서야지 탑람지어레스라.
Yes. So these precepts, these practices really lay the foundation for kind of accumulating merit or attaining enlightenment. So by engaging in these practices will really help us to make our mind more joyful and kind of sense of rejoicing for what we are doing. So these practices may not help us to make money or make us rich, but it will definitely make our life more happier.
One more 10 minutes. One more question, please. Yes. You're very kind.
So how do the Buddhists how do you guys like there's so much suffering in the world. How do you like, for example, how do you guys tackle that in like such as like world hunger and stuff? How do you tackle like suffering in the world?
Tanda zamli nal pate shabai nagila takangi mangu shiyora
Ra,
pena chikte togi kange la sobada ta dendi kangi mangu shiyora chila ta nangbe ki ngweni kangi disula ta tatang da dongne chetang de kandira ushiyores.
the tan zambali nane, ta ji nambe nane, keta chishu the Jawarmuchiras, ra. And Jawarmuchi Shela Tuni Madu Chugyo Mares. Ra, Shela Tuni. Teni Jawarmuchi Kuzu Siga Truga Drodige, Bati Jigna Chuji Lenchin, Chutse Nijin Switchin Modo, and it jig Chuk Karsa, the jig Tsumeta, Peju Cheshela Sobata, Tana, and in Kong Tsem Jundi, so Jundi, and it Chukab Kanji Ketrojene, Tigi, Dama Chigores. The D. Ye Dindig something was the right. Dindig something was that.
Yes. So we can understand, the Buddhist approach from the life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, because he really embodies the teachings that we practice. And if you look at the life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he eats only 2 times in a day. And not only that, whenever he takes shower, he avoids try to avoid using excessive kind of water. He just feel kind of always make sure that within a 1 bucket or 2 bucket, he don't use more than that, and then only when he go to brush his teeth, he would make sure that glass of water, he only use a glass of water to flush his mouth. So try to avoid excessive consumption of the resources is is a kind of a part of the practice that we do.
Tati nenga shore dasra. Ngan zambali nanglo le ya kanga cheshu di kharir slavdi. Ani chola tan shayat. Ra. Nganzu gi nimma chiglan danya di shutsu kashi nanglo la pechu chesha warasra. Techi ondin di edi yongsa gi tyongo din zambali di toni yongor mada ani ling shen su yonguyo marasra. Tenza nganzu zambali di tola yebi gi longchu di ani lo chigla pechu che choya di donta kashi nangla pechu che shabayana duku rangshin zodo gorasra. Teni chok mambu jila ya daga rangi ta nigyo yungu yorada. O do chini mire ngore ni ani chik saya tongya chik chuch sunje ni pechu che yalen zemsun chigi imbayana te tiki pengo resra. Samtangdaro di direshas.
Yes. So the biggest problem that we face in today's life is that we tend to waste lots of resources, or we tend to waste um, food or resources. For instance, the resources that is enough for one day, for example, we ended up using that in 1 hour, and the resources that is sufficient for 1 year, we ended up consuming that in just 1 month, maybe. So such kind of overconsumption of resources will have a very kind of negative or harmful repercussion, because the resources that we use comes from this earth alone. We can't transport resources from some other alien planet. The resources are coming from this world, and if we overconsume, then it will, of course, it will have a very negative consequences. So therefore, it is really important as part of our practice to save and limit our consumption of resources.
Nganzu kala sawandi onjina tuma chik pechu china digrasra. Ta jagadawina tuma kora pechu chik marida. Tuma pechu chik, ta tuma pechu ni chigi imbayana tuma ni du chugo gara darwa. Tuma ni du chugo ondi chut pechu chik warida. Tenji tenbi da chik chut pechu chigi nguda darwa. Jagadawina tuma kora pechu machi di tuma chugo marida. 아니 토마소에 제저든 로고 말았다. 딘지기다 다 간지 떠서 좀 딘지니 연구 알았다. 인바이는 야다 간지 꺄나 쇼친들어. 아니 칼라 뒤직 사이라 토마스음사지 배주치. 안디 딘지치고 알았다. 안 데스 님바잖아 디마 ken이나 유사와니 아니 쇼기 사서 탈레도 닝구 마사지 디파유 셴바 또 지원디게 랑신 그다 쿠유래야 느긴 로고야바다 세우 세냐라서 tinza nambis chi ngondige namba tsende genlong anchi getsul ane tawada tsuma tsuzugi ma chiagi kala tuyinima to sagiwa mares ngondige sukbola ya kala tuyinima to gogiwa mares tara goguma dasda tesan rawajina do chiondi daga rangi tachi zambali chila ya pemba mato neba chik tsawani ni mando asara
For instance, when we eat food, um, probably only 1 spoon is enough to eat the food, but we have a habit of using maybe a spoon and a fork, um, and so on and so forth. So the idea is that if you use 2 spoons, you need to wash 2 spoons, and then you need to use extra water to clean that. And if you use only 1 spoon, we don't need to kind of waste that extra water to clean that. And then, for instance, in India, people mostly they don't even use spoons; they just eat with their hand. So if with that habit, we don't need to use extra water to clean that, and also the materials that makes the spoons. Um, and we also have habit of using multiple kind of cups. We have separate plate to eating the breakfast, separate plate for eating the lunch, and so on and so forth. So such kind of habit of overconsumption of resources will really have a negative impact on the environment. Environment. So therefore, it's really crucial to minimize our kinds of usage of the resources, and try to follow a kind of a minimalistic way of life. So most of the Buddhist practitioners, they only eat 2 times a day, and I think that's truly what our body needs. Our body really don't need 3 meals per day. So by adopting such a lifestyle, we really have a positive impact on the world at large.
ngi mitse koral ngi tatruya ki chudin zambulile shende kya yin sra shamis.
So I want to conclude by saying that I shaved my head, so I don't need to use lots of water to clean. So that's my contribution to the world.
Thank you so much.
Final Lamrim prayer. From my 2 types of merits vasa space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a grand length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be grounded boundless peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtues practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. And pray for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, May you have a long life, and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And pray for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Lostang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now, holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice. You wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and for mother living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in a glory for fortunate disciples. Thank you very much.